So I was supposed to be talking about wood release this week, but then I remembered I should probably explain what Kekkei Genkai in general are. So yeah, that's what this video is gonna be about. So alright, what's going on everybody? Swagkage here, and today we're gonna be talking about Kekkei Genkai. I think the best way to give a broad explanation of what a Kekkei Genkai is to just tell you what its name means in English. It directly translates to bloodline limit. And, well, this name isn't too far off from how you might hear some people describe what a Kekkei Genkai is. Kekkei Genkai are genetic gifts, almost like superpowers, and as a result, the abilities they entail are impossible to learn. Kekkei Genkai abilities can't even be copied with the Sharingan, as said by Kakashi himself. However, it is possible to obtain a Kekkei Genkai a person wasn't born with through various means that I'll explain later. Of course, first I should explain how Kekkei Genkai abilities are naturally acquired, and well, this tends to vary depending on which ability you're talking about. Some abilities are genetically exclusive to all members of a particular clan, like the Yuki clan's Ice Release ability. Some abilities are genetically exclusive to individual people though, like Hashirama's Wood Release ability that no other members of the Senju clan ever developed. Finally, the rarest of Kekkei Genkai are the kind that are genetically exclusive to one clan, but also only manifest in certain members of that clan. The Kaguya clan Shikotsu Myaku ability is a really good example of this. It was an extraordinarily rare ability that only seemed to manifest in one of the clan's members per generation, and was never used by anybody outside of the clan. Now, it is worth noting that Kekkei Genkai can be classified in more ways than just with their acquisition prerequisites. There are actually 3 different kinds of Kekkei Genkai in the Naruto universe, and they all vary quite drastically from one another. The first kind is the Dojutsu, or ocular techniques, like the Sharingan, Byakugan, and Rinnegan. Dojutsu all unsurprisingly manifest in a person's eyes, and typically change the appearance of their eyes quite drastically. These changes can only be seen when the abilities are activated, however, and on that note, most Dojutsu abilities can be triggered on and off at the user's will. The second kind of Kekkei Genkai are what you could consider body abilities, and as you can probably infer, they're all tied heavily to the entirety of a person's body. Examples include Sakon and Yukon's unnamed Kekkei Genkai that allows them to merge their bodies with those of others, and the Kaguya clan Shikotsu Myaku ability. These abilities are probably the hardest for a person to acquire if they don't already have access to them, as they seem kind of hardwired into the body's genetic code. The last kind is the nature release Kekkei Genkai, which is probably the most commonly seen. These are special kinds of nature transformations that exist outside of the basic 5, and are generally the result of combining 2 nature transformations at once. It's very important to make the distinction between casting 2 different kinds of natures like fire and wind together at the same time, and merging them together into a completely separate nature transformation, as the results are completely different. According to the anime, people with these kinds of Kekkei Genkai have an affinity for both natures they are combining, or in the cases of Kekkei Toda, all 3 natures that they are combining. Now, I've already listed all of the different combinations between nature transformations and the new nature transformations that they produce over in my Chakra Natures video, so if you haven't seen it already, I would highly urge you to, but there are some exceptions to the rules that I've explained here. Not all nature release Kekkei Genkai are the result of combining 2 of the basic nature transformations. Blaze release, for example, is completely different from this. Blaze release is both a dojutsu and a nature transformation Kekkei Genkai, as it's the result of one of Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan abilities, Kagetsuchi or Flame Control, which allows him to bend and shape Amaterasu into different things, and is so versatile that it had to be classified as its own nature transformation. Some other examples of these exceptions can be found in filler, like Crystal Release, Dark Release, etc., but for the most part, nature release Kekkei Genkai are always combinations of 2 or 3 nature transformations. Now, before I proceed onward and explain how it's possible to obtain Kekkei Genkai that a person hasn't been born with, I need to make it very clear that Hiden techniques are not Kekkei Genkai. Hiden techniques are special techniques passed down between members of specific clans, but they're not genetic abilities the same way Kekkei Genkai are. These are techniques like Shadow Possession Jutsu, Mind Transfer Jutsu, and so on and so forth that no members outside of the clan who created them have access to, not because of genetics, but because of how heavily guarded the specifics of these techniques were. Anyhow, now that that's cleared up, let me explain how to acquire a Kekkei Genkai without being born with one. Generally, this is done through transplanting or surgery in some form. Transplanting dojutsu like Sharingan and Byakugan is typically much easier than transplanting body Kekkei Genkai and nature release Kekkei Genkai, but the procedure still isn't perfect. The actual surgery is as simple as doing a regular eye transplant would be in real life, but there are a lot of drawbacks that come with using a dojutsu that you're not born with. Most notably, increased chakra consumption and decreased control over the abilities that the dojutsu provides. Now, it is possible to acquire a nature release Kekkei Genkai without being born with one. Many characters have done this by simply being Jinchuriki, like Gaara, who inherited magnet release from Shukaku, and Roshi, Roshi, who inherited lava release from Son Goku, but it's also possible to acquire nature transformation Kekkei Genkai through surgery as well. I'm not entirely sure on all of the details of the procedure, but I assume it has something to do with splicing the cells of the person who originally had the Kekkei Genkai in with your own, but this procedure is far from perfect as well. Many people have gone through this process to gain access to wood release by having Hashirama's DNA transplanted into their body, but more often than not, attempting to go through this procedure results in the death of the person being operated on. So it's not very reliable. Now, I don't know how he did it, but Kabuto managed to acquire 2 body Kekkei Genkai, Sakon and Yukon's unnamed Kekkei Genkai, and the Kaguya clan Shikotsu's Yaku ability, both of which I've mentioned earlier. He apparently transplanted the DNA of Sakon and Yukon along with Kimimaro into his own body, but I don't know how the procedure went. Kabuto's a medical nin though, so he probably knew what he was doing. That's all for this video. Next week, I'm actually going to be jumping into wood release. So sorry about the delay there. I just thought it was appropriate to cover Kekkei Genkai as a whole first. But anyhow, thank you guys as always for watching the video all the way through to the end. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, maybe leave a like. Of course, if you have anything you want me to talk about in a future video, then as always, leave it in the comments below. And if I like it enough, I'll add it to my list of upcoming video topics. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hope to see you in my next video, and I'll talk to you later. Swagkage out. Bye.